What we're watching now is corruption to such a degree that many of us don't even have a thought in our head that something like this can happen for so long. And the only way it can happen is if someone is helping. Now, you cannot just open a daycare center and say you have children. You have to show proof of this. Parents have to fill out forms. You have to send in documents, the time the kid was checked in, when they were checked out. All this stuff has to happen. I used to get subsidized daycare money when I was getting a link card back in the day. When I was in my 20s, I was trying to get on my feet and that kind of thing. I had to fill out forms every single week, and I still had to pay money towards that. So for these people to get millions and millions and millions of dollars, that means the person that owns the daycare, the people working there, everybody has to be in on this, because you have to fill out forms. There has to be checks and balances. None of this stuff is just happening. It's just like with Jeffrey Epstein, all the stuff that happened, and many times he should have been under the jail, the many times, but nothing happened. That's because he was being aided and abetted by someone in the highest office. This has happened for years, and we are watching, and it has reached the nostrils of God, and he doesn't like it. And this is why the corruption is being exposed. You cannot continue to walk in this kind of deception, theft, corruption, lack of integrity without it being exposed. You cannot continue. Everything done in the dark comes to the light at some point. Someone has to pay for this. And the reason it's coming out for that state in particular is because Tim Walz had the audacity to accept the nomination to take the second highest office in the land. He had the audacity. And because he did that, he got the ball rolling for his own exposure. Anytime you think you are going to go even further, God will expose you. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's like the people that have these churches and they try to do more and more, and the more and more that they do, the more they are exposed. But God warns you ahead of time. He lets you know. He will give you a dream. He gives you something, and he will let you know you cannot continue this. But people are brazen. They think because they have not been caught that they will not be caught. The nerve. It's almost like all of the world hates the U.S. so much so that they have no problem with us being ripped off. Taxpayers, because it is the middle class working people that are paying all the taxes. And it's our money that's going into the pockets of these people that are coming here that hate our country, so much so that they will not assimilate, not even enough to learn the language to even be able to hold a conversation with someone that lives here. They wear what they want to wear. They're putting their mosque up and everything else, and we're just sitting back allowing it to happen under the guise of being friendly or being accepting. But they're not accepting of you. They're not accepting of your God. They're not accepting of your way of life, of your religion, of your language, of anything else. But we need to be accepting of them. We need to have the type of food that they use. We need to have the kind of polish and everything else, all the stuff to make them comfortable. But I can't walk into a single Muslim establishment and have them to serve me pork. They won't do it. But they can walk into mine and ask me if I have something that's friendly for them or their way of life. I've had people call me before they get a service done to ask if I have a curtain that they can be closed off so that their legs are not exposed to different men. I absolutely do not, and I will not. And I never have, and I will not. I refuse it on every turn. You ain't got to come here. Go to where you are comfortable. Go to where you're accepted. But we have been too tolerant. Even in the Bible, the foreigner could not just walk into the children of Israel's camp and change anything. They had to assimilate to the camp that they came to get help from. How you coming here to seek asylum, because they're all seeking asylum from their own countries. They come here to seek asylum, and then they come here and they're hostile. And then they start to want things, demand things, force things, get out here and picket and everything else, demanding that we bend to them. And because people have so much guilt about being blessed that they receive it and they accept it and they bend. We couldn't do that in any other country. This man was almost the second in charge. This man that is so corrupt and so ignorant that he did not even know what was going on. Daycare centers don't have blacked out windows. Drive up to any of them. Drive up to any of them. They're everywhere. You see some form of children, some form of kids playing something that says that kids are in there. Many times the traffic is so bad in that area because parents are dropping off the kids and picking them up. When I used to go to pick up Morgan, I could never find a park. I had to park and walk down and get her. But in these places, you can just pull up, walk up. And what do they mean hours? Parents work, usually a daycare center opens at 5 a.m. because they have a before care and an after care, because parents usually have to leave for work, because many times you got to be at work at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. You can't have banker's hours when you have a child care, when you have a daycare center. You usually close at 6 p.m. and there's usually a woman that stays after. And if you are late, you have to pay that particular person that had to stay behind with your child. Now, how is it that all of this has gone on in this state, all this stuff registered there, and nobody knows what's going on? And it just so happens that Ilhan and Tim Walz are the people over that. Those people are not smart enough to think of something like this. They have been put on game. This is just like people that game the system and receive food stamps and medical cards and cash and payments for their phones and lights and everything else. These people know what's up because somebody has taught them, somebody in their family, a cousin or somebody. You don't just learn this stuff. Somebody has to teach you. So someone has taught them, and they've taught them on a large scale, because that's millions of dollars. That ain't just no few $1,000s a week. That is millions of dollars. This is a conspiracy that goes deeper than we will ever know. The fullness of this thing we will not see until we leave this earth. But right now, we ought to be serious about getting people in office that have integrity, that have some form of integrity. And many people, especially in the Muslim community, they don't have it. I don't care if you're offended. Many of them don't have it. You cannot live a complete lie worshiping a demon god and have integrity. I said it. I don't care. It's the truth. You are not worshiping the living God. You live in a lie. And you're worshiping the devil. And that's what's happening. So now it's our job as citizens to get these people out. Demand exposure, demand arrest. Something has to happen. And if the people won't arrest those that are guilty, they themselves are in on it, and they need to be arrested. Period, point blank. I've had enough. Paying taxes, working 6 days a week for over 20 years, and I get fined if I'm late. I get fined if I can't afford medical insurance. But these people are driving around in Mercedes and everything else, and they came from a third world country living in a hut. There's something wrong. Something's broken. It's got to be fixed.